today, I just wanted to share a video really quick before I get up. There's been some award show controversy, and I just want to make a few points. One, about the gospel industry. Two, about the regular, R&B industry, like just music in general. Okay, so and award show industries as well. So you guys, let's take it back. So you guys remember about a few years ago when Angela Bassett was supposed to win the Golden Globe. I think it was like 2003, and people tried to drag Angela Bassett on social media talking about, oh, Angela Bassett is being ridiculous. She's being a petulant child, is one TikTok person said. And I'm looking at the situation why, like, you don't even look old enough to even talk to Angela Bassett like that. Angela Bassett is probably like 2 times your senior, and you talking about a woman that's been going through some things. So then she finally wins because a lot of us made such a uproar about it that she finally won an award. Like Cicely Tyson, a lot of these people don't always win awards because, like they claim and like they say in any industry, they don't really support Black people. And it's sad, but that's the main reason why why people, especially folks like Bobby Jones, and people in his era back in the 70s came up with BET, the Gospel Awards, all this other stuff. So we thought, you know what I'm saying? So main reason why BET, basically, which is Black Entertainment Television, right? Mainly reason why we have, Black Girls Rock and all this other stuff is because people in Hollywood noticed that folks were not going to give them the flowers that they need like everybody else, or talk about real life issues, that they're going up there, because like we have our issues, but they got theirs. So what I notice is a lot of artists are getting hit with a lot of scandals. Now, some people probably have done stuff, but if you notice, there's a trend. It's always hitting the millionaires, billionaires, and then we're hitting them like with all types of lawsuits and stuff like that, or they're getting hit with all types of lawsuits. You guys don't want the community to survive. That's the first thing. And the second thing, shame on the people who think it's okay to do these acts. But mainly, you should really think of your legacy before you let anybody spread anything about you. Just be careful what you do in the industry. Some say they can't, some say they can't. But there have been some gospel artists that were angry at the fact that GloRilla basically got the Bobby Jones Gospel Legendary Award for her collaboration with Kirk Franklin. And it's been a lot of controversy because folks have been saying, well, she's not a part of us and all this other stuff, and she's not one of us, and she's in the secular world and all this other stuff. And it's just stupid because what can you do about it? Mainly nothing, honestly. And then they're talking about how, oh, if we have issues like this, and we need to take it up with the people that run the situation. Now, all this stuff may be true. All that stuff may be honestly true, right? All that stuff may be perfect in the real world. When you don't like something, you take it up with the management authorities and all that other stuff. Here's the issue. BET, after a certain point in time, is now not owned by Black people. So I'm not going to make this video and talk about, oh, how I dislike white folks or dislike black folks, but we have to be honest about the stuff that we do. We get frustrated with stuff like, for example, we're irritated with the situation about Donald Trump being in office, but I can guarantee you how many black and white and Mexican, Jewish people, knowing that he doesn't stand with you, voted him in and now want to sit there and backpedal and get mad because you see what's going on and now you can't change it. Well, you got to do stuff like that. You got to vote the right people in. If you can't make a move, make a motion to people that are in Congress, make suggestions, do something. Because when I was in Washington, there's boxes where people can say stuff. Now, they're not going to let just anybody and everybody put suggestions in their box. But there's things that you could possibly consider. Get you somebody that can represent your community the right way and get you the help they need. Now, that was a side note. Back to what I was talking about. The main reason why it's hard to do when you have people that are not of us running our shows, now we just give anybody and everybody an award. I'm not upset about it because I'm not in the industry. I'm glad she got an award because I'm looking at the fact that this might be progress. And I'll tell you why in a second. But the thing about it is this. People get so bent up out of shape that we don't get the right angle. If you're going to be upset about somebody getting an award that doesn't belong to them, you need to take it up with the people that run the show. If the powers that be run the show and they're not looking like you and I, then you need to say something about that, especially if it's black entertainment, because that's why it was called BET. Otherwise, it would be all the other stuff. Just like with any other community, you know what I'm saying? Nobody would have an issue with that, you know? People are wanting to integrate so bad with our community, but they don't understand that there's nothing wrong with integration. I'm always going to be for it, but I'm just saying it's so easy to adopt culture and assume that we're like this and assume that we're like that. But the problem is when we don't have people that are fighting in democracy, that are telling the truth about what's going on. The first way, we need to elect people to be in the ranking for the Black Entertainment Award Show. That way, if you have people that know who you are and know who they are, nobody will get the wrong award, if that's how y'all feel. But can I dial it back a minute? There was a time where Gladys Knight said the same thing about George Michael. There was a time back in 1987 or maybe 88 that he received Best Artist in the R&B category because he has a soulful background, you know what I'm saying? But the problem is that he's a white guy from Britain and not from America. So people had an issue with that, especially women like her, because she felt like there have been black people singing, is basically what she said, black people that's been singing R&B music for years and didn't get an award. And she basically was like, Bobby Brown been singing for years and never got an award, but we get somebody from overseas. And a lot of people back then were frustrated with folks from London because they felt like they were getting more attraction than people that have been working in the United States. And, you know, but here's the issue. I've never been to London, but from what I've heard from other artists, if that's their background and soul music is what they listen to all the time, let the people sing. It's not gonna kill y'all. You know what I'm saying? If you don't like something, that's the reason why you gotta elect the right people in office so you guys can get the right awards. You see what I'm saying? But when you have people like the powers that be that control things like that, there's not much that you can do unless you have a good connection with certain people to talk about. But even then, if they make their thing set, they make their thing set. You know, Nicki Minaj said it a couple times where she didn't understand how Taylor Swift won, more awards than other people. And at the time, I think it was 2013 awards. I think I was probably in high school when that was going on. And you know, they were told to make basically hug and make up. But people have been making accurate points. But do you notice how nobody does anything? You're not going to get good you're not going to get good proper representation of people if you don't have the right people in office to run for you. Shoot, even Angie Stone herself, and this is talking about the music industry as a whole, has been doing stuff for years. This was before she passed. She never got invited to any award shows, and she's got more soul than some of them that have been singing, you know, R&B and stuff. But now let's switch over back to the gospel industry. The problem and the reason why people not really caring about the industry like that for the gospel artists is because we're looking at how gospel music has declined. It's different if you want to collaborate with people in the R&B and other genres because they're not responsible for holding up the gospel. You see what I'm saying? So when they and this is just not an opinion of mine, this is just my observation. A lot of people are probably not going to support the gospel industry because of the stuff that they do at award shows, the stuff that they clown, and the stuff that they put on their social media. Because of the fact that there's been such a decline and that people have not been able to see them edify themselves in the glory of God with the music and the talents that they have, some people just don't think that, you know, everybody's life is lining up with anything. But I feel like if you're going to sit there and come at GloRilla about getting an award, especially the Bobby Jones Gospel Award, then you guys in the community need to own up with the fact that you guys have let gospel music clown. We put every beat with gospel music, and it doesn't apply. You can't mix unclean with clean. You know what I mean? And if that's how y'all feel, which I know that's how y'all deeply feel, then stop doing collaborations with people. Folks made a big deal about Tasha Cobb and Nicki Minaj doing a collaboration. But at the same time, you know what I'm saying? And this is not slander to anybody. I like all of these artists. But if you guys have an issue with it so bad, then you need to take it up with the people that are running BET. And get the right people in office so you won't feel bad about it. You know what I'm saying? You can't get mad and bent out of shape if you guys haven't been. I mean, listen to how this makes sense. Y'all ain't say nothing when it was Whitney doing gospel. Y'all didn't say nothing when it was R. Kelly doing gospel. Heck, you didn't say nothing when it was Toni Braxton doing gospel. But how come every time when a rapper does gospel, you guys have an issue with that? And here's another thing where you lost basically a person to Christ. You don't know that could possibly lead them into getting saved. You never know. They might say, you know, I went through all this stuff and this changed my life and now I want to bring my life to church. You never know. But if we keep yelling at them for sins and we're doing the same thing, how is that making us in the right? You know? How? It's just frustrating. It's frustrating. It's annoying. It's crazy work. Absolutely crazy work. How we can think that we have the right to judge anybody and we haven't done stuff the same. I know some gospel artists that are drinking and nobody's holding them accountable. I made a video about it. So I'm just saying, if we get, like I said in the beginning, if you don't like certain things, make another organization where you guys can get stuff, you know. And this is a side note. There have been people that have been mad that there has been white or Asian people at a historical black school. It's the same thing. You guys control that. We don't. You know what I'm saying? You can't get mad at the masses if they just want to see what we do. You can't get mad at the masses if you don't put your foot down somehow. You can't say one thing is wrong and then you don't correct the stuff that you're doing. You see what I mean? We got pastors that are getting called out for what? And you guys don't see anything wrong with that, but you still attend their church. You'll still go to stuff. Like, for example, this one guy, and I used to follow him, and it's not that I don't follow him anymore. Some of the content is too aggressive. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like, that Chives guy, he seemed like he's really cool. That official King Chives, or Jives, not Chives, I'm sorry, Jives. He's really cool, and he has a lot of good points. You know what I'm saying? I think he has some good points. I think he has some things that he talks about that make sense. However, here's just the only thing that I can say. If we're going to talk about, the ministry and stuff like that, and that'll be a whole nother video. For people that feel like, okay, the apostolic faith, they don't accept homosexuality and all this other stuff, just go to an affirming church that will accept you, because at this point, you know how you feel about God. That's between you and the God that you serve. But you cannot get bent out of shape over a community of people that have, and I get it that there's people that are frustrated with stuff and say, well, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the church and that they were turned out because of this and turned out because of that. Listen, sin is sin, period. You know what I'm saying? And you can't get upset and justify anything in the Christian faith. You might as well just cut it off, because anything and everything goes at sometimes. That's just how it is. I'm not saying I condone it. I'm not saying that it's all right. But to push the thing about, and this is just a side note, I'll make another video about it, about people accepting LGBTQ in church. It's not going to happen unless you make your own church where people are accepting of you. That's the only time it's going to happen. And I think the reason why it's not going to happen is because a lot of people are just tired of the stuff. They think it's wrong. There's been a lot of churches I've gone to in Indianapolis that I've just seen, gay folks walk in there. But you know how the church is. They're going to think that you're going to want to get saved and get delivered from that. There's I don't know any other way that I could put it around that it's going to make it sound better. But, that's what I'm saying. In the industry, there's a lot of people that do stuff and we're finding out, but then we get mad at people that get awards. But you guys are not willing to talk about all of it. You know what I'm saying? You're not willing to deal with all of it. You guys have more power than we do that's not in the industry. There's many of you that just can come together, have a phone conversation, talk about these things. Some of these things can be treatable. It's like having a cure for a wound and you're not curing it. You gotta want to do it. But see, a lot of times people don't. They end up telling on themselves. They get mad. It's just like with the situation at the when Dr. Phil exposed that woman for being at a university that was specifically for Black students and was a faculty member and lied about her race. That would have never happened had people did their background work and said the stuff that they needed to say. The whole issue is music, and whatever situation it is, media has a way of making I don't care what community is, look odd because they don't have good representation of it. It's the same situation in the gospel industry. You can't have good representation if you don't represent it right. That means you guys can't be just saying whatever you want to say in interviews and not get mad at other people that are in the faith correcting you because they're looking at you as to uphold things. You know what I'm saying? The world can get away with whatever they get away with because they're in the world. They're expecting us to know better. You know what I mean? So it's mind-boggling. It's kind of stupid. It really is stupid. If you don't like something, you can change it. There's no excuse. It's just like democracy. If you don't agree with something, get with enough people that do agree with you, talk together, and come together. Period. Things are not going to change unless you guys do those things. Now, if it keeps changing like that, people still keep getting awards that they don't deserve. You only have you to blame, and that's it. After all that's been said, until the next time we meet.